In a recent announcement, Moscow revealed Belarusian troops are now undergoing training on Russian nuclear missile systems, while some Belarusian jets now have the ability to carry Russian nuclear warheads. These moves have been seen as a show of strength from Russia as Finland officially joins the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, with the announcements coinciding. Moscow stated its intention in March to station tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus, as well as to build a specialist storage facility to house those weapons, with completion intended for July of this year. At the same time, President Putin stated that Russia had already stationed its Iskander short range missiles in the country and was helping Belarus convert their jets to carry tactical nuclear weapons, with plans to begin training pilots in the next month. These latest reports indicate that Russia has pushed forward with these plans, with training of Belarusian forces now ongoing. Images released by Belarus's defense ministry showed soldiers boarding planes to Russia to begin training, with the ministry stating the crews of these units will study in detail issues relating to the maintenance and use of tactical nuclear weapons of the Iskander-M missile system. Separately, the Russian defense chief also said some of the Belarusian ground attack aircraft have gained the ability to strike at enemy targets with nuclear armed weapons. But President Putin made clear in an interview that Russia would retain control of the weapons deployed in Belarus. Tactical nuclear weapons have a smaller yield than strategic nuclear weapons and are intended for use on the battlefield rather than against civilian targets or non-military infrastructure. These weapons have a yield of 50 kilotons or less, compared to strategic nuclear weapons that have a yield from 100 kilotons up to multiple megatons. But whether or not there's a significant possibility of their use is unclear. President Putin has repeatedly made thinly veiled threats regarding the use of nuclear weapons in Ukraine, and speaking in a national address last year, he stated, Russia will use all the instruments at its disposal to counter a threat against its territorial integrity. This is not a bluff. But the stigma associated with nuclear weapon use, even of the tactical variety, as well as the diplomatic fallout that would follow, makes it seem somewhat unlikely that these weapons will be used outside of a very desperate situation. More likely, these hints and deployments are a reminder to NATO not to get too involved, because if pushed too far, Russia can resort to the nuclear option. But an alternative possibility was noted by Harold Malmgren, senior aide to 4 US presidents, including John F. Kennedy. Malmgren has observed that there seems to be no advantage to adding nukes to Belarus. However, one possibility is that leaving the weapons in the hands of others would enable some element of plausible deniability as to who actually used them. This is obviously speculative, these are only questions, but they're worth noting as they come from a highly respected geopolitical strategist and presidential advisor. The hope is that these moves are merely a show of strength in the days up to Finland joining NATO, and this is the official line from the Kremlin, with Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov saying that as NATO expands towards Russia, Moscow must respond by increasing its security.